why.
Yeah.
Because it was like my first time Templar Assassin ranked game.
Okay.
Generally, I will spam it only in not ranked games.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I
So
want.
the thing is, like, when we look at your team lineup right now, there are so many things wrong in your team. With what MMR is this again? 2.5.
2.2, yeah, 2.3,
Two
now
point.
2.3.
Yeah. So there's so many things wrong in this lineup. Number one thing, the first thing that just shouts at me are you've got four heroes um who do the same thing almost.
Yeah.
You know, this guy and try to hear this out, right? Phantom
Mm.
assassin, Templar assassin, stealth assassin. Do you do you see what's going on here? You know,
Yeah, yeah. There
so
is a problem. There are all
yeah,
assassin and killers and
exactly. They
us.
all four of these heroes, they have a very, very, very similar thing that they do, and literally two of these guys, Phantom Assassin and PA and TA, they both almost exactly do the same thing, and their play style is almost exactly the same. They don't man up and fight. They both sort of look for the backliners. They jump on the backliners. They kill the backliner in one or two hits or three hits maximum, and they get the hell out. They're not going to wait there and stand and fight. Right, Ricky, he is a supportish thing, but he does the same thing, almost the same thing. He has a presence in lanes early on. He harasses people, but in a team fight, he throws down his smoke. And then he goes on, he tries to go on the backliners again, and he tries to kill the backliner. If it doesn't work out, he pops his ult and he gets the hell out. So Slark, very similar thing. He pops his invis, he goes in, he looks for the backliners, he kills the backliner, then he pops his ultimate if he gets into trouble, and he runs the hell out. You know,
So we that game was a losing game of
yeah.
for the picks. I mean,
Yeah, that was this is one thing that stood out. The second thing that stands out is literally you have number one, no frontliner, and number two, nobody who actually stuns. No AOE stunner, no crowd control, no spells. You have no magic damage, no burst damage. Well, PNT are sort of burst damage, but not really. They're not exactly the regular type of burst damage. But the biggest thing is there's nobody to stun anyone. All of these heroes kill people, but no one can on your team can actually make sure that these guys can kill anybody, because nobody can stun anyone, nobody can keep anyone in place, nobody can sort of funnel anything, and nobody can control a point. Like, for example, in here you've got a what's his name, Skywrath Mage. He throws down his ultimate, and suddenly you've zoned out a section of the map for a brief time. You've zoned out a section of
yeah,
the map where people can't enter.
yeah, he was the problem that came. The only
Yeah,
problem was his ultimate and the silencer,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I can manage like all the team, but not
yeah,
the Skyvrat.
yeah,
I
and
got the BKB, but really, really late game,
yeah.
and yeah,
Like
that
like
was
other things in your team, the composition. So like, yeah, there's no sustain. There's this guy's heal, but this guy heals for like what is it, 130, 130 heal at max. It's
yeah.
130 heal at level, a max level, and that also, like, it's long duration. It's 6 second cooldown. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. And no stuns, no heal, no sustain, no saving support, or no fighting heroes, as in fighting carries.
But
The team
I
was
saw
too bad.
that in 2.2K, you if you play support, you can lose, but if you don't play support, you can't lose. Yeah, because the game will be always. I saw it. It will be always late game. It's impossible, like, to not get in 2K MMR fucking early game. There is no possibility because people
Uh,
can't
you have a
can't
31-minute game
do that.
here.
Always late game. I saw it. Always.
Yeah,
30 minutes,
I
okay,
can,
but
I can. I mean, like, yeah, you've got one or two. Yeah, you're right. You got a few games. You've got very few games. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't agree with you on the fact that on the assumption that you can't win with supports. It's just that you have to pick different supports. You are not going to be able to scale that well with certain certain types of support. Supports like, for example, Oracle. You're not going to scale that well with Oracle. You all you can do is you can save your allies, and that's just about it. That's it. But other supports, if you, for example, look at Vengeful Spirit, she can scale really well as a support. If you look at Witch Doctor, he can get ultra kills, rampages easily. If you look at Lion, he can Lion, what's it called, Lina, Lich. All of these supports they scale super well. This guy Shadow Shaman, you don't even give a shit about what your team is doing. You just take your ultimate, you go to a tower, you put down your ultimate, bye bye tower. It doesn't matter if your
Mm.
team won or lost. Every you do that like 3 or 4 times, suddenly you've taken the Raxes of the enemy team. So I don't agree. I think that it's just a choice of supports. You have to have Skywrath Mage, fantastic support hero. You get a good early game advantage, and you will always get a fantastic early game advantage because the Skywrath Mage, because the enemy team is gonna have the same mentality as you, and they're not gonna pick supports. So Skywrath Mage just goes around throwing out concussive,
Yeah,
not
but
concussive.
he lost.
Is
We didn't have a support.
Yeah,
He
they lost because look at the time. It's gone. The game went to 46 minutes in, and the enemy, these guys don't actually have a carry, whereas you guys have three almost extremely strong, hard hitting cores. And this team also had a very similar issue to you guys in that they had only one stun and a very, very, very tiny AoE stun in the Slardar, and that's it. So your team composition was bad, but guaranteed the enemy team composition was also just as bad,
bad.
almost
Okay,
just as bad. I
but
wouldn't say theirs was worse. I'm pretty sure yours was worse. Theirs was just as bad. It's hard to really compare.
so what a team really need in 2K? He need a stance. He need heals.
It's
What
not
does it?
2K. It's not 2K. It's every single game. Every single game. Every your team. Actually, you know what? They actually, if you start the game, does it actually show here? This is the same as the old one. You know how when you are picking, you see bars showing what the team composition is.
I need. I think the team composition is like
Yeah.
a mid laner, an off laner.
No, 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 no,
Uh,
no, 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 no. I mean, it says, carry, disable, durable, escape, those things.
yeah, I know those things, but
Okay, so
I
in
really don't think that knowing those wins your games because yeah.
no, you need to have a balanced team. In summary, your team, every team needs every good team needs at least one um, crowd control, AoE crowd control, right?
Okay,
Every
like
team.
Tide the Hunter,
No,
like
no, 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 no. Crowd control is there's lots of crowd control things. Leshrac is crowd control. Lena is crowd control. Lion is crowd control. Witch
mm,
Doctor is crowd control. Winter Wyvern is sort of CC, not really, but it is sort of CC. Then you've got Pugna is a very very strange kind of card. Puck
sto chiamando un attimo.
Puck
Sorry,
is no
was
worries.
okay. I'm here.
No worries. Uh, Timber Saw is the definition of crowd control, right? So your every team needs one crowd control, and then every team needs one stun, AOE stun preferably. But if you don't have an AOE stun, then you need multiple stuns, no multiple single target stuns. So
Okay.
a Tide Hunter in that sense is actually a crowd control plus a AOE stun. So you put a Tide Hunter in a team, suddenly that team already has two of the important factors. Then your every team needs a man fighting hero, someone like a Sven, for example.
Yeah, but so Sven is a really poor picking in this patch
No,
because
it's
he
not.
like can't stack ancient, so it's
It's
like
you play him.
useless picking it.
You play him differently. Go to YouTube and watch D2 Boy's latest video on Sven, Fear playing Sven, and that I played Sven a few days ago, and it wasn't as strong as it used to be, but it's still viable, very very viable.
Oh,
And when you need a man fighting hero, Sven is. one of my go-to heroes. You can also go to like sorry, what's his name? Life
Lifestealer.
Stealer. Yeah, Life Stealer is another really fantastic man fighting hero. Anti Mage comes online late, but that's also a man fighting hero. You know, Juggernaut
Yeah,
is
but
a fantastic.
before this patch, anti-mage is really can really do many things and can do like before.
Okay,
One
what I'm
time,
talking about is I'm just trying to get through these few points. So I'm just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
naming a few heroes. You know, lots of heroes do 20 million things. Like Axe is, you know, he can man fight as well.
Yeah,
He
it's
can crowd
incredible.
control. He can AOE stun. You know, he can initiate. There's what I'm trying to say is that every team needs a little bit of all of these essential things. Every team needs a heal. Every team needs
Mm,
sustain. Every team needs some escapability, some defensiveness,
okay,
some defensive support, some offensive support, some burst damage, some physical sustained
damage.
right click damage. You know, all of these
Mm,
things need to happen in every single team. And if your team lacks that, then your team severely is you know, it's like a person without a leg. You know, what do you
okay,
call it?
okay, I understood. So it's really difficult to have to itemize really strangely properly for that type of game.
It's difficult to play at your full potential.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, understood.
I
So
mean,
I got the route.
definitely there are different strats. Like there's a pushing strat where you lack a lot of these certain things. Like you might lack a crowd control or AoE stun, but then your entire team just pushes. And in Dota, it's all about pushing, so it works. Anyway, let's get into a game. We actually don't have too much time to look at the game, so we're gonna try to do it really quickly now. First thing is that looking at this lane, it's a TA versus a melee hero, and oh my god, is that a lovely day for TA? You should be
Mm,
looking to Psyblade this guy as much as humanly possible. You don't really care about him silencing you at all. You can man. You don't want to necessarily man fight him. It should never really come to him man fighting you, because you just keep on Psyblading him, and you are not really taking full use of Psyblades. You can actually deny or go for the denies, and he's going to come close to get the deny, right? He's going to come close to the creep, and when you right click that creep to deny him, you're going to Psyblade off of it. So he's going to take
okay,
guaranteed damage every single time. So you don't really need to worry too much about the silence. You just right click him. Um, you put 2 points in refraction. I think that was a mistake. The reason for that is because this guy is a melee hero. He keeps trying to come on to you, like tries to right click you. So you just put a point in meld early on, like level 3, and you literally meld strike him every time he comes close, and then he can't fight with you anymore, because even level 1 meld strike is 2 minus armor, and Bloodseeker has got, you know, he doesn't have exactly the best armor, but it's pretty low armor. And then you've got a point in refraction, which allows you to dodge some of the, not dodge, but like negate some of the right clicks from the guy. So, or at least
mm,
three right clicks, 2 or 3 right clicks from that guy. And suddenly you've, you know, gotten an amazing right click trade. So um,
okay,
you should have won this lane hands down. And you're not winning this lane because um, you're not side blading. That's pretty much it. He's look at this. Look at it. He was there for the entire duration of both the creep waves, with you only landing a couple of hits on him. You don't deny anything. That's the problem. He gets the heals off. He gets all the heals off. You can't let him get the heals off.
okay, okay. So yeah, always try
If
to deny. Okay.
if you want to play TA, it's really important to get Psyblades. It's really important to understand how Psyblades work. It's important to get a very good, you know, feeling in your hand of what positioning you need to do, what positioning in the creep wave you need to have, and where you need to right click the creep to get the Psyblade off. Now, if we look at the last hits, this guy's got 20 last hits. You got 14 last hits. You've pretty much lost this lane. You know, it's not almost
Uh,
double, but it's pretty damn high. And if we look at the levels and we look at the XP, this guy is it's not too far off. Did you get a killer assist? You didn't. This guy's not too far off. You actually overtaken him, so it's not too bad. It's probably because he left the lane for a while. I'm not sure what the hell was happening. How the hell he has um, less XP than you, even though he's got buttload of denies. But I suppose he might have left the lane for a little bit or something. You actually also got a bounty rune. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to get the bounties for the battle.
Mm.
And now I'm trying to push the lane for getting the tower. And yeah, he got me like the rapture,
Yeah,
but I managed to escape.
yeah. You don't really need to care too much about rupture because you can just go invis. Anyway, so with TA, if you are having this, but I mean, to be very honest with you, I'm quite disappointed that you didn't win this lane straight up. But yeah,
Okay,
you should be looking to stack a little bit.
but the
You
ancient,
making these rotations towards the bounty rune. Bounty rune is actually going to give you somewhere around at this stage is going to give you around 60-ish gold. 60 gold
yeah,
is not that much. But if you actually make the same rotation, the exact same rotation every odd minutes, um, so bounty rune spawns at even numbers. The
yeah,
stacking occurs at odd numbers. So
yeah.
you going for the bounty runes. So you do the same thing at odd numbers where you go for the ancients. You stack an ancient, you just created about 230 gold for you instead of that 60 gold that you're making for that bounty rune.
All
You
right.
know? So it's really important that
But
you stack.
for the mana and the HP, what I have to do?
What do you mean?
That I have to rotate even in the even minutes.
Yeah, I'm saying you rotate both times. One
Ah,
time
okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
One time, like you're constantly pushing the lane out. That's what you're gonna kind of have to do. You're constantly pushing the lane out. That's nice. You got a free tower. Just turn on the refraction next time you wanna get extra damage. Anyway, so okay? Let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about your boot choices as well a little bit. So what was I talking about? Yeah,
Okay.
so you rotate at
The
odd
boots
minutes in.
and the rotation to the
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So one time you go get the rune. The thing is, once you get level 6, which is about 4.5 minutes in, 5 minutes in maximum, you put the traps down, so you can also know which side spawns the
Ah, okay. The
um.
rules.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
runes you
yeah.
should.
True.
Yeah, so you go get the rune. For the bounty rune, you can't always be sure, especially when there's invis heroes in the game. You can't always be sure that you're gonna get the bounty rune. So it's whatever. TA does need a lot of mana, but we'll come to that in a minute. So that's for runes, odd number, even number. Sorry, even number, odd number. You go do the same thing. You push the lane out. You go to the ancients. You stack the ancient. You stack this ancient 3 times. You stack this ancient 3 times. Hallelujah! It's 12 minutes in. You've got enough items. You've got a desolator, and you can start farming the ancients. And as
Okay.
far as item choices, you need to go phase boost. The reason why phase boost is so good on PA is because treads. There's two. There's so treads actually allows you. What does treads do? It gives you better right click damage, right? Sorry, a
Yeah.
better attack speed.
Attack speed.
Attack speed, exactly. So you as a TA, as a hero, doesn't really, you don't stand and fight somebody. You don't need attack speed. You want to kill somebody in 1 or 2 hits. So you need higher right click damage. You don't need attack speed. Second thing is you need to run around everywhere. So you need faster movement speed. So phase boots is just perfect. A perfect item. The only time you need to go power treads on TA is when you actually need the extra 200 HP. And that is literally the only time you go for power treads. And even then, I've maybe once gone for treads on Templar Assassin, and that was when the enemy team had something like a Zeus, Lion, Venomancer, and some ridiculous, stupid shit, and lots of burst damage. And I was like, okay, I
Okay.
need the extra HP. Doesn't matter. I just need the
Mm.
extra HP. So you don't need that. if that's a very rare case, and actually, even in those cases, for you 2K MMR, don't ever buy. You always only buy face. That's it. End of story. Second thing is
All
you
right.
need Aquila. Aquila is extremely important on TA. Your spells don't cost that much mana. So Aquila 0.6 mana region. Every 100 seconds you got 60 mana. Every 100 seconds you get a free meld. That's actually amazing. So you need to get Aquila. Third thing is that you should have gotten the Blightstone pretty early on. The thing is, your meld actually does two of minus armor, and then the Blightstone does another two minus armor, so you automatically have minus four armor. And at this stage, very few heroes have like insane amounts of armor. Actually, this enemy team, all of them have really high armor. That's actually really weird. Apart from the Skyrath, who still has zero armor. It's
Okay.
sad days for Sarath. But yeah, this enemy team has really high armor, so it would be even more beneficial to have a little bit extra um, minus armor. Now, eh, going for this was okay, but you don't want to mill like that. There were a few things you could have done here.
I
You
don't
TP.
know why. I tried to meld, but it was too far away. That's
Yeah, yeah. You don't start melding like that. The guy, first of all, as a bloodseeker, he's always going to be fast, right? He's always going. At the moment, he's not fast because none of you guys are low, but you can just expect him to be really fast. So, the first thing you should have done as soon as you came here, throw down a trap and activate that trap, and then start running after that guy. Maybe you still don't chase him because there was a stun on this guy for 1 second, 1 second stun. So there's very low chances that you would have gotten him, especially because you were almost out of mana. Even 11 seconds later, sorry, yeah, 11 seconds later, I thought this was level two. You would have had another Sonic Trap, but I don't think that you would have gotten him just because of the extra stun and all whatnot, and you don't have phase boots. Now, if you had phase boots and you had done what I said, then maybe you could have gotten a kill. So this is something that you want to avoid, right?
okay.
You don't want to waste your meld like that. Level one meld is almost shit. Doesn't really do anything. So wasting level one meld isn't that big a deal. But later on, you can't afford to miss your melds like that. So there's a couple of things you can do. First of all, play a lot of TA. Understand when her range is at what level. You know what is a range? When you will and when you will not get
The meld
the
down.
meld off. Yeah, exactly. Second thing is use the A button, the attack button. Don't right click. Use the attack button. Press meld and then use the attack button because then you
Okay.
won't start moving. I don't do use that anymore. I used to when I started off. I did used to do that because otherwise you're gonna miss melds. But now I know what her attack range is, so I don't miss. But if that is the case, then you sorry, what the hell did I just say? I'm
That
just keep losing my
use the
face
attack
today.
button for
I'm
meld
actually
because you will not move with the attack initiative.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually just really hungry. I keep losing my train of thought. I'm so bloody hungry.
It's
Um,
okay. Maybe you are tired.
no, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Yeah. So practice TA. That's actually the main takeaway from that. And now going for the choice between Deso and Blink Dagger. So you need a Desolator. Okay, so the choice between Deso and Blink, it's it's a really tough one. In effect, what the difference between the two items is the blink allows you to have superior positioning. Superior positioning means a really good team fight. So if you expect to be fighting a lot, then I'd say go for the blink dagger. At the same time, blink increases your farming speed tremendously. On the other hand, having a desolator actually increases your right click damage, and that increases your farming speed even more than having a blink. But at the same time, in a team fight, you can literally have if you get a 12-minute, 13-minute desolator, which you can if you had really good last hits and if you've got some ancients stacked and everything, that just kills two hits kill people. So um, it's tough. You have to go for situation to situation. Usually, my train of thought is if I'm gonna be farming a lot more, I'm gonna go for the Desolator. If I'm gonna be fighting a lot more, I'm gonna go for the Blink Dagger. If I need extra escapability, I'll go for the Blink Dagger. If I don't need escapability, or if my team has lots of stuns and I don't need to use initiation and whatnot, I'll go for the Desolator. If I
Right.
need a big benefit to having a Desolator is that translates into a pre 15-minute Roshan, which is Ursa timing, which is really amazing, which is really really strong.
15 minutes Russian? Oh,
Yeah, easily
that's
because
incredible.
you can get Blink Dagger early on, right? Oh, sorry. So you can get
This
Desolator
later.
early on. So Desolator costs 4,400 gold, right? If you get all the last hits,
3,600?
uh,
No.
4,000. What did I say? 4,000. Sorry, 3,500. What the hell?
Yeah. Not
Why did
4,400.
I remember
3,500.
4,400? Okay, 3,500 gold. Desolator cost 3,500 gold. One at 10 minutes in, there have been 82 creeps, right? So let's just say 80 creeps, and each creep gives you around a bounty of 45. Let's just say a bounty of 40. That means at 10 minutes in, there has been 3,200 gold in the lane, right?
Yeah.
If you look at all the actually, let me have a quick. I might be missing a couple of things here. Bound Dota 2 creep bounty. I think it's more like 45. I can't remember exactly. Lane creeps. Where the hell is it?
Bounty 1624.
No, that's mega.
Okay.
Melee creep. Yeah, it's about 40. And range creep is, yeah, so it's averaging at about 40. So 3,200 gold, right? So from this 3,200 gold, you gotta take out
Facebook
660. 660
and
for bottle. Yeah, 660 for bottle. I'm gonna give a rough 1,400 for face boot. So you're left with 1140 gold, right?
yeah.
So after 1140 gold, you
Ring of Aquilus.
yeah, that's another minus 900. The hell is going on? I'm doing something wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. 240 gold, right? So basically, if you get all the last hits, then you get the phase boots, ring of Aquila, and the bottle, and the blightstone, right? Uh,
Okay.
in 10 minutes. At the same time, you also have the 100 gold per minute passive 100 gold per minute, which translates to another plus 1,000 gold. So you've got this much gold in the bank at 10 minutes in. And if you've been stacking ancients this whole time, also, I'm not going to factor in the bounty runes, and because I'm going to say when you go for a bounty rune, you miss a CS, so it's kind of equates to the same thing, right? So if you've been stacking ancients, so up until 12 minutes, if you've been stacking ancients, and I'm not even going to put the extra four creep waves of the four extra creep waves for the next 2 minutes. But if you've been stacking ancients every 2 minutes, and you started off at 4 minutes, or started off at the 3 minute mark, so 3 minute, 5 minute, 7 minute, 9 minute, 11 minutes, so
All
that's
right.
six stacks, right? Six stacks, each of easy value of 200. So that's actually because there'll be already uh, one ancient's already there. So we're actually talking about eight stacks. So eight stacks times what is the bounty for a average gold for a neutral spawn? Ancient creeps, ancient creep camp. Ancient creep camp gives about on average 250 gold, right? 250 average. So that means it 8 times 250 is 2,000 gold, right? So
All
we
right.
add on top of this 2,000 gold, and that's your full desolator.
Yeah.
So
At yeah, 12
at 12
minutes,
minutes.
10 minutes.
So
It's
12
incredible.
minutes, I think what I actually remember is 12-minute blink dagger. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
All
12
right.
minute 12 minutes is when you can get the blink dagger. Desolator is more like 14 minutes.
Okay. All right.
You're actually on almost on track to get a desolator at 14 minutes. In fact, if you had stacked anything at all, if you'd stacked three camps, you would have had a desolator at 14 minutes in, which is, considering you've got half the CS that you should have had, it's pretty damn good. Pretty damn
Mm-hmm.
good. But point is that you can get a desolator really, really quickly, and then it's a really easy early pre 15-minute Roshan. You get a desolator, you go straight to Roshan. That's it, easy Roshan.
All right. I will do it. I will practice that for my next games, and then just try to thinking ranked game that will boost me like I don't know, but 200 MMR for sure.
Yeah.
I will get
Well,
the 3K, I think.
with Templar Assassin, it's all about practice, and PA is also a very situational hero. You could have turned on your refraction at any point. You didn't do that. Right here, you should have turned refraction on. You didn't need to use your sonic trap because this guy is fighting. You turn refraction on, and then you melt strike him, and then you can actually
Yeah, that was funny because I TP in and I died. I didn't know how I died there because it was incredible. What the fuck happened there? I didn't know. I was trying to help my teammates, but nothing.
Yeah,
It
Monkey
was
King
too funny.
had his Jingu Mastery. He had all four
Yeah, but
hits.
I think it's too much damage.
Nah, it's
The
fine.
Monkey King is too big now. I think they have to nerf it or do something
I
for
don't
that.
I don't think his. I think he's fine. He's
It's
fine. Anyway,
fine.
yeah, yeah. I think he's quite balanced actually.